Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly beautiful story. It's one that completely bridges the gap between a young girl's really simple quest for knowledge and the profoundly deep atmospheric science it ultimately reveals. We're looking at The Little Lantern and the Adventurous Light, which is this incredible narrative that just perfectly captures why we should absolutely never stop asking questions. And it all starts right here with this deceptively simple question. Why is the sky blue? It's the kind of thing we've all probably wondered about at some point, right? But this specific question was asked by a 7-year-old girl on a super ordinary Tuesday in October. And the wild part? This one tiny, seemingly basic inquiry completely stumped her entire village. Literally, nobody had a real answer for her. So that brings us to section 1, the girl who asked why, looking at Meera's questions. Meet Meera, the protagonist of our story. Now, she wasn't just, a mildly curious kid. She was already famous in her village for her absolutely relentless, unstoppable questions. I'm talking about wanting to know why rivers flowed downhill instead of up, the actual mechanics of why bread rises in the oven, and the crazy gravitational mysteries of why stars didn't just fall right out of the sky. Now, her grandmother saw something incredibly special in this trait. She lovingly gave Meera the nickname the Little Lantern, recognizing that, a curious mind is a light that never goes out. She understood really early on that Meera's insatiable curiosity wasn't a nuisance at all. It was this profound strength that was going to guide her through her whole life. But, when Meera finally asked about the color of the sky, our vibrant little lantern hit a total brick wall. Her family and teachers offered these incredibly unsatisfying responses. Her teacher literally just told her that's just how it is. Her father just gave her a shrug, and her older brother made a joke, saying it was because blue is the sky's favorite color. But Meera, being the little lantern, absolutely refused to settle for those kinds of non-answers. Which leads us perfectly into section 2, meeting Dr. Vela, the old scientist. Since her family couldn't help, Meera's quest took her to the very edge of town. She'd heard whispers of an older woman, a scientist, living in this house just completely crowded with books, telescopes, and jars full of peculiar liquids. And while other kids were kind of spooked by this mysterious house, Meera, she was purely intrigued. So she bravely marches up and knocks on the door. Dr. Vela opens it, peering down at Meera through these really thick spectacles. And when Meera boldly asks her question, why is the sky blue, the old scientist didn't just shrug her off. Actually, a smile spread across her face like the very first crack of light at dawn. She looked at her and said, "I have been waiting for someone who would ask me that." Just what a wonderful validation of a child's curiosity, right? All right, let's get into the mechanics of this in section 3, the science of blue light, and the hidden colors. Dr. Vela welcomed Meera in and immediately led her to a table by the window. She didn't just hand Meera a textbook, she actually showed her. Dr. Vela held up this glass prism, letting a bright beam of sunlight pour right through it, and it erupted into this stunning rainbow on the wall. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, the whole shebang. From there, the scientist broke down the exact sequence of what happens up in our atmosphere. First, sunlight enters our sky carrying all those hidden colors. Second, that light literally crashes into tiny specks of air, molecules that are so microscopic we can't even see them. Third, the blue light scatters the most, bouncing in every possible direction and just flooding the sky. And finally, the other colors, they mostly just travel straight on through. She explained atmospheric scattering in a way that made these invisible forces of nature suddenly completely visible and totally accessible to a 7-year-old. And this next bit brilliantly illustrates Meera's immediate realization. After taking in that scientific breakdown, Meera summarized it perfectly. She said, "So the sky is blue because blue light is the most adventurous. It goes everywhere at once." Wow. She turned a highly complex physics concept into this unforgettable poetic metaphor. It was so spot on that it made Dr. Vela, a scientist with 60 years of experience, just completely laugh out loud with pure surprised warmth. Moving right along to section 4, a corridor of new doors and endless questions. Because you see, understanding the daytime sky was a huge, monumental moment for Meera, but it was really just the very first door opening for her. Answering that one question simply laid the groundwork for entirely new mysteries to dive into. For instance, Dr. Vela used that exact same scientific principle to explain something entirely different. We know why the daytime sky is blue, but what about a sunset? Well, Dr. Vela explained that during a sunset, the light actually has to travel through way more of the atmosphere at an angle. So that adventurous blue light, it finally gets exhausted and scattered away, which allows the warmer colors, those burning oranges and reds, to finally take their turn and paint the sky. And from there, her world just kept expanding. Meera kept going back to that house every single week. She learned that the ocean is blue because it acts like a giant mirror remembering the sky above it. But honestly, the biggest thing she learned was that every answered question isn't a dead end. No, it's a door leading to a corridor of entirely new doors. Science, as Meera discovered, isn't just some stagnant list of dry facts you memorize. It's an active, continuous way of experiencing the natural world, literally walking through it with your head tilted up and your eyes wide open. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the value of curiosity, a lifelong journey. Because the true moral of Meera's story isn't just about atmospheric physics, as cool as that is. It's really about how we choose to interact with the world around us on a daily basis. You see, Meera's curiosity wasn't just some cute childhood phase she grew out of. It became her lifelong posture. It started at age 7 with that tentative knock on a door. It grew through those weekly visits, unlocking the mysteries of light. And it totally blossomed years later when Meera transformed from the little lantern into an actual professional scientist. She ended up traveling the globe, studying the atmosphere, and looking up at skies the color of burnt copper and deep violet. She literally never stopped being that little girl asking why. And I think the crucial point here is captured so beautifully in this advice from Dr. Vela. She told her, "The moment you stop being surprised by the world, you stop truly seeing it. Stay curious, and the world stays alive." That is absolutely the core takeaway here. Our sense of wonder, our willingness to let ourselves be surprised, and to just keep asking questions, that is exactly what keeps the universe vibrant and meaningful to us. Because think about this. On the evening Meera walked home from Dr. Vela's house for the very first time, as the blue sky softened to peach and the stars began pricking through the dark, Meera looked up at that enormous, mysterious universe, and she whispered a brand new question. Why do stars twinkle? She knew right then that she already had a place to go to find out. It just proves that the world always rewards those who keep knocking. So let me leave you with this. What is your next question going to be? What doors will you open today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember, always stay curious.